Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. And for Illinois, I have this to say. Come on down. Illinois is the latest state to file a petition to ban former President Donald Trump from the Republican primary election ballot in March, claiming that he's ineligible to hold office because he encouraged and did little to stop the events on January 6th on the U.S. Capitol. So, another 14th Amendment Section 3 case coming to the fore, this time from Illinois. So, the Supreme Court is going to have its hands full. This case right here, when does it have to be held by? They have Illinois State Board of Elections has yet to set up the petition for hearing. The board is set to hear 32 other objections to the proposed ballot in its January 11th meeting. So this could be, in a week's time, Illinois could also hear this petition to remove Donald Trump from its 2024 primary ballot. All right, so let's look at the energy around this and see if it's going to have more of a Michigan-Minnesota vibe or Michigan-Wisconsin vibe, or is it going to have more of a Colorado vibe to it? All right, entertainment purposes only. Let's see what we got. We have Colorado, Maine. Do we have Wisconsin and Michigan? All right, so what do we got going on here? King of Pentacles. All right, my decks are upside down. King of Pentacles. This is Donald Trump, not as the president. This is Donald Trump, the wealthy person, and his actions on January 6th. And, just sitting there encouraging people to basically rise up against the government. And what's that crossed by? The decisions. It's now up. We're now going to challenge, is he somebody who should be allowed to run for president again? And decisions need to be made. Queen of Swords. It's getting really clear that in this case, right now, if I were to look at this, I'm going to say, yeah, they're going to consider it and they're going to rule that he's not allowed to run. This is a cut and dry, no nonsense card. What's underneath this? It's pretty obvious what he did and what he violated, and a decision needs to be made, and it needs to be made quickly and rather ruthlessly. In the past, we got the Ten of Swords. The actions that Donald Trump did on January 6th should have disqualified him from ever being able to be put on a ballot again. He has violated Section 14, or the 14th Amendment, Section 3, for basically participating in insurrection or being an insurrection against the United States and providing aid and comfort to those people in the insurrection. Current status is the Empress. The state courts are going to have to look at it. They have to decide what's in the best interest of Illinois. And not only what's in the best interest of Illinois, but American voters, and most importantly, the Constitution of the United States. The overarching energy is the devil. It's kind of like which way are you going to go with this? Are you going to leave him on the ballot and say that, basically we don't want to make a decision on it, or it's not fair to Donald Trump and his supporters if he's off the ballot? Or do you just say, this is going to be a difficult decision for Illinois, the Illinois courts. And again, this is going to go through the same things that we just saw in Colorado, most likely. Do you let Trump on the ballot, or do you kick him off? Eight of Swords. The lesson to be learned is: are you stuck? Are you bound by keeping him on? I think they're going to keep him on. Actually, I think they're going to rule saying, we don't know what to do, because the Supreme Court hasn't ruled on it. I honestly think that if they do make a ruling, they'll immediately stay it because they feel like their hands are tied. Trump's going to make a big stink out of it. And maybe they're afraid to... And I know what this is. This is them knowing Donald Trump and his supporters. And if they rule against Donald Trump, that they're putting themselves in the crosshairs. Let's see what the outcome is. 8 of Wands. The decision's going to be made quickly. Again, there is a cut and dry letter of the law thing that's going on here. I do think they will make their decision. The decision's not been made yet, just because they're worried about that. And maybe the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court's going to rule on it, they may not make a decision, but they have to rule quickly. And again, this might happen in that meeting that's coming up a week from now. Okay, so that's the energy. I didn't ask what they would rule. That's just the energy. But the energy basically is, I think they understand that he was in the insurrection. There's no doubt. They know that. It's just, are they brave enough to face the consequences? And they know what the consequences are going to be. They know exactly what those consequences are going to be. So now the question is, how will they rule? Again, that 8 of Wands, that tells me things are going to happen fast. So I really do think it's going to be on that January 11th meeting, discussing things being contested on the ballot. So I want to know, after the January 11th meeting, I don't know how it's going to get ruled. If that's going to be the Secretary of State that rules on that. I would imagine it's the Secretary of State that gets to make that call. And then it'll go through the court systems. Will the Secretary of State rule to take Donald Trump off the ballot? Oh, somebody's being left out in the cold. 5 of Coins, being left out in the cold. Left out of the institution. I want to do a 6-carder. Planning. I think the Secretary of State's leaning to kicking him off the ballot, and they're making preparations for that decision. They probably have already discussed. They have a pretty good idea. I'm sure they've had discussions. So now it's just hearing the arguments for it. The 7 of Wands. There's going to be a lot of debate over this on both sides. There's going to be a winning argument that's made as part of this debate. Basically, a justification for the decision. Past is the King of Cups. In the past, I think this is looking at Donald Trump and the meltdowns that he has when cases go against him. They know what they're up against, and they already have to make plans. Basically, you could picture in Illinois that if police officers had leave or something like that, they might be canceling leave for peace officers. They might be increasing security measures around the Secretary of State's office in anticipation of what's going to happen next. And the King of Cups is that emotional maturity or immaturity in this case. And I think this is the immaturity of Donald Trump and his followers when they get information that they don't like. The thing they have to understand is they're looking at election integrity and the integrity of the United States and the events that happened on January 6th. And how do you justify keeping Trump on the ballot when the Constitution's pretty darn clear as to what's disqualifying? Yeah. So Secretary of State's going to be making the ruling on this. And it's a willing sacrifice, a new way of looking at things. I think the lesson we learn is the Secretary of State's never had to do something like this before. And I really do think they're going to kick him off the ballot. You have to evaluate things and look at things differently. And this could even be a willing sacrifice. That Donald Trump's going to be sacrificed, and the Secretary of State understands they're putting themselves in the crosshair by this. Yeah, they're bringing an end to it. They are not going to let him on the ballot. The king is dead. We do not have kings. We have presidents and ex-presidents. No, they're gonna kick him off the ballot. They will kick him off the ballot, and they will be able to justify it. I think that when it goes to the court systems, the courts are going to uphold the decision to keep him off the ballot, which is going to force the issue again to the Supreme Court. Now, if the Supreme Court was thinking that somehow they wouldn't have to take this case, you've got another state coming in here. Now, again, you have Colorado and Maine on one hand, and then you've got like Michigan and Wisconsin on the other hand. How is, the Supreme Court, this is just one of those things they're going to have to rule on, especially in regards to the 14th Amendment, Section 3, and qualification and eligibility to run and hold office. So we'll see what happens. This is, again, I'll read on it closer once the Supreme Court is taking up this case. Otherwise, just speculation. And even if you have to wait a few weeks to get to that case, they'll do it then. There's other things to read on. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so my video makes it out to a wider audience. 2 new viewers to the channel and folks that have recently subscribed. Welcome. Thank you. Glad you found us. Hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.